I wake up every morning saying, God is so good. And that's all there is. My name is Mrs. Dixon Hays, or Bernice Hays, and I came to Winter Garden at First Baptist Church July 1957, and I've been here ever since. We moved here in July, and they put me to work teaching the 10-year-old girls that fall. And so I started, and I taught 10-year-old girls a couple of years, and then they wanted to start the activity teaching with what was called the beginner department at that time, and asked if I would lead that up. And so we went in there and worked in at the 4-year-olds for about 33 years. Oh my God. And so I got out of the 4-year-olds and started as secretary in the medium adult. Okay. And I kept that up then until, must have been 3 years ago, I had surgery on my knee for a torn meniscus. And I couldn't go up and down the steps. While I was out of that, then they changed the way of the keeping records, and that position was no longer there. So I started Sunday school class.
Two things that stick out in my mind about Mrs. Hays is that she's sharp as a tack, she's a hustler, and she is no slow speed when she's walking around, getting around from place to place. One thing that I remember from Mrs. Hays, what she's already taught myself and my family and others around her, is that your kids can never be too little to learn how to serve others, that we as parents and as people can teach our kids and young kids how to serve just by living our lives.
Well, I serve because God has enabled me to, that's all, and I just feel like I need to do whatever I can that maybe help out in some way. That's what I think about Crossroads. I'm not up there just doing a job, but it's work that needs to be done that works in to help get the gospel across. When they first put out in the bulletin needing help in the office, I went to them and asked what kind of help, and they said, well, folding bulletins, that was the thing to start out. I said, well, I can do that. But one of the women anyway that works up there with the little ones, when I would meet them as they were coming out of the auditorium on Wednesdays, Amy would always tell them, said, when I was your age, she was my Sunday school teacher.
Oh, look at that. How about it?
Well, what started me sitting in the back, when we first put in air conditioning, we always sat down front, and the air conditioner fan was blowing the pages of my Bible even. And so I spoke about it to the janitor, and he said, well, Miss Hays, if you'll come back here in the back, you won't have that trouble. I went to the back, and he was right. And that custodian was the one whose name is on the concrete walk there at the door when we're going, when Eddie Phillips, that he was the one, and he said, if you'll come back here, Ms. Hays. So I've been in the back ever since.
To tell of our involvement in Katrina, which happened in 2005, you had to know a little bit about Global Maritime Ministries and associated terminals. We were there to assist them in this effort. Mrs. Hays would actually get up early in the morning to come over, and as she was staying off property, and she would come in and we'd have breakfast ready at 6 o'clock. To see Mrs. Hays being a part of that, and seeing her sit around with the table with some of these men who looked at her as a mother or a grandmother and said, you know, they would share their stories with her, they would share and feel the love that she had for them, and she would just listen.
Everybody at the church loves you. I mean, they absolutely adore you. When your name is mentioned, the room lights up.
Had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, ma'am. Miss Bernice, what is it that keeps you serving?
there just isn't anything to stop me. When I'm no longer able to, I hope God takes me home, because I don't want to be here just passing the time. I want to be able to do something. If I'm not needed anywhere, why even ask to stay around?